You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my God, expose you.
Expose, 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 expose.
It's time for some exposure. Some exposure. Some exposure. Expose. Expose myself to you. To you. To you. E-X-P-O-S-E. Expose.
Expose, 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 expose,
Hashtag drama alert. There's news to expose. Hashtag breaking. SS Sniper Wolf has a vagina. More on that at 11.
Vagina.
Hey guys, this is Scarce here. Lots of news today, lots of exposure, and double upload.
Expose, 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 expose,
You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Expose, 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 expose. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my God, expose you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am completely pissed. I was gonna write a script for this video. Why am I still getting hate?
Hey, what's up guys, it's Scarce here, and so from now on, I'm going to report the news. Let's go inside the stories!
expose, 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 expose.
You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Expose, 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 expose. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my God, expose you.
Expose, 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 expose.
It's time for some exposure. Some exposure. Some exposure. Expose. Expose myself to you. To you. To you. E-X-P-O-S-E. Expose.
Expose, 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 expose,
Exposed. 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 Hashtag drama alert. There's news to expose. Hashtag breaking. SS Sniper Wolf has a vagina. More on that at 11.
Vagina.
Hey guys, this is Scarce here. Lots of news today, lots of exposure, and double upload.
Expose, 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 expose,
You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Expose, 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 expose. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am completely pissed. I was going to write a script for this video. Why am I still getting hate?
Hey, what's up guys, it's Scares here, and so from now on, I am going to report the news. Let's go inside the stories!
Expose, 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 expose.
You're exposed. You're exposed. You are exposed. Expose, 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 expose. You are exposed, sir. I'm going to expose you. Expose you. Oh my God, expose you.
Expose, 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 expose.
It's time for some exposure. Some exposure. Expose. Expose myself to you. To you.
I am oiling up. I just oiled my ass.
E-X-P-O-S.
Oiled my ass.
Expose, 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 expose.
What you know about that? What you know about oiling the holes?
Expose, 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 expose.
What's up, everybody? How are you?
Expose.
Super. I may accidentally shut the chat for now because I'll be reading from. Have. Are they? There they are. You're gonna want to see him. You're not gonna want the chat will be in the way, and words on top of words will not be a good thing. Yes, I know the song is on. I already had the mouse. We got some super chat cherry poppers here. Holes all the way, baby. Holes. Dead Space remake. Yes, I saw it. It was just a teaser trailer, but still, it's bonerific nonetheless. I need this exposed song. You can actually buy it below for as little as $1. Or actually, do I have the link here? I'm going to have that link tomorrow. I probably could have been a millionaire literally off of that song, but I blew it. I didn't realize until like a year ago that Incompetech, I forgot the guy behind it, he was like, yeah, you could sell it. I'm like, but it's, I know it's royalty free, but I guess in a way that is stupid though, because if you're making ad revenue off the song, what the fuck is the difference? Audio is not matching my mouth. Why is that? Why is that? I don't know. I know I'm out of sync. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. Okay. Now I just restarted the software. How is it? Perfect, better, fixed. Yeah, that was weird. Dude, I don't know. OBS has some weird fucking shit the first time I always use. All right, good. Yeah, all I had to do was I literally just closed out of the software, reopened it up in milliseconds, and here we are. Wow, that's strange, man. That's strange. That's fucking weird. That is weird. Handsome bird. Okay. All right, now that it's been, yeah. I literally, all I did was stop the stream, shut down OBS, reopened it, and hit start streaming again. Like, nothing else. I hope Dead Space is good. Me fucking too. If it is, it could be one of the true next-gen games. Yeah, especially, oh man, if so they're not doing any remasters or any shit. Like, it's going to be built from the ground up for current-gen hardware. Oh, Cherry Jesus, I have been fantastic. How are you? How are you? Man, I'm going to mitigate how much I use medical marijuana. I actually have to get my card not reinstated, but renewed, because it's only a month away till I have to renew it. Because even though in New York it's legal, they approved it being legal. It's actually not going to be legal recreationally until end of 2022. So I got a long time before that. So anyway, we'll wait for when we hit 500 people. That'll be the next stream, Beal. That'll be the next stream. No, I didn't get swatted. This is someone who did get swatted. It's a pretty awful situation. I couldn't talk about it in a video because YouTube would insta demonetize it. So we could talk about it here. This is the nice thing about these streams, that I could have the hotter takes here. Oh, damn, we're already up over 500 people, huh? My shirt looks like Bezos rocket. Spread your cheeks and just go to town.
Spread your cheeks and just go to town.
Yeah, that was so fucking strange that all I had to do was restart OBS. Here I'm thinking, like, oh no, please don't tell me I have to restart the computer, or maybe because it's I think I updated the graphics card driver today. Pretty sure I did. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. I'm like, oh, don't tell me I have to, like, do, like, everyone's here, and now I'm going to have to tell them to wait 5 minutes, because that always fucks up the viewership growth. All right. I guess I'm going to have to put my headphones on, because this has a video to it. Yes, they are. Lights, camera, Jake. All right. So, let me turn this down. Let me shrink myself. That's something that no woman has ever said to me. Small penis gang for life. Anyway, so this is why I am a huge advocate of draconian punishments for swatting. What happened to Tyler Barris was a step in the right direction, but I feel that even if no one is hurt, that if they find out who the swatter was, it should be tried for attempted murder. And because the amount of resources they use when they swat someone is fucking disgusting. I think it should be just flat out, oh, you swatted someone, 20 years. Would it stop all of them? No, because there's psychopaths that don't care. No law stops every crime, but would it sure as fuck mitigate it? Hell yeah. And this is why. This is fucking why. So, a 60-year-old man died of a heart attack while being swatted over his Twitter handle. Here we go. Here we go. You ready? Actually, I think this goes to YouTube, doesn't it?
Tonight is...
Yep, yes, it does. So, of course, how do these major news networks do not, or even like these regional news networks, how do they not know how to fucking adjust volume? Like, how do I do a better job with my audio and it's me and my editor than, like, major news networks? Anyway. No, we didn't learn anything, DBZ. Lights, camera, Jake. Yes, we are at. So let's go. And let's get pissed off, because this is going to piss me off.
New tonight, it's called swatting. It is a growing problem across the country. The term refers to a hoax 911 call with the goal of diverting emergency resources to an unsuspecting person's home. On News 2 at 4, we told you about a victim who found himself in the middle of a swatting call after he refused to give up his Twitter handle. He was part of a nationwide crime spree targeting people with rare usernames worth thousands of dollars. News 2's Alex Dennis
What? I didn't even know this part.
Explains how minors are suspected of orchestrating the entire scheme that ended with a local man dead, with a story you'll see only here on News 2.
Why is
his neighbor called and said, there's police everywhere, and they think a man has killed a woman and he's on your property. You know, you need to take cover.
It was shocking news for 60-year-old Mark Herring, who lived here off of a sleepy country road in Bethpage.
He went out the house with a gun because he heard someone was on his property. And he sees all these cops around him. And they ask if he is Mark Herring, put your hands up. So he tosses the gun away from him to show he's not a threat. Hands up.
A full response from authorities faced the innocent grandfather who died minutes later.
I believe that he was scared to death, and that is what caused his heart attack.
Yeah, he probably, you know, is 60-something-year-old guy, heavy-set 60-something-year-old guy with guns pointed at him. He had any kind of medical issue, it was going to rear its head right there.
Rushed to Sumner Regional Medical Center, where they learned more about Herring's final moments.
They just kept talking about this 911 call that was placed.
It had been like a prank phone call or a swatting phone call.
Months later, they learned about Shane Sonderman, a minor back in April 2020 when the crime was committed.
He was from Tennessee. He's the one that collected all of our information. My address, my sister's, my mom's, my other sister. Like, he put it on a channel on Discord.
These people are such fucking sociopathic, virgin loser pieces of shit. I hate bringing it, but the reason why I say virgin is because I guarantee you that 99% of these guys, if they just got fucked, they wouldn't be this angry. I don't care if they're 14. They need to be charged as adults, and they need to be set an example. Let the rest of their lives be ruined. They're fucking incels. You can't. Oh my God.
Which is a gaming chat form.
The private information released for use in an intimidation tactic meant to convince Herring to hand over his one-of-a-kind Twitter handle at Tennessee. Herring refused. Another minor was in on the scheme.
A kid.
Fuck with their minors, because it's Tennessee. Because they could have sold it to Tennessee. They could have sold it and got like tens of thousands of dollars for the... That's, I mean, in a much less nefarious way, they'll be like Bob.com, because it's obvious one that people will go to. People could get like a web address and sell it for sometimes millions of dollars. Holy shit, man.
In the United Kingdom, made the call to my dad's local police department.
He will not be extradited from the United Kingdom because he is still currently a minor.
Right.
Sonderman is currently...
Oh, boy. I'll hold off on what I would say would be my course of action.
Behind bars awaiting trial. A federal grand jury indictment claims he had 6 victims across the country. Herring was the only one who died.
They're not playing a game and they're not thinking it's funny. This is legit extortion.
How much money are they selling these handles for?
It's like $3,000, $4,000. Like pennies compared to a life.
The family shares Herring.
Yeah, but they don't. They're sociopaths. They don't care. You have to still be a sociopath at fucking 14 years old to think that, like, I know at 14, I damn well know that the consequences of what something like this would have been. Come on, man.
Herring's story now for several reasons.
Watch your kids on the internet because they know more than you think they know.
And that those guilty of swatting face tougher penalties.
You've not just changed that one person's life. You've done a ripple effect, and they need to pay for that.
Alex Dennis, News 2.
Sonderman faces a conspiracy charge on a possible 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. He'll be back in court July 21st. New tonight is...
No, he needs more than that. He needs more than that. Let's see if they have anything. In April 2020, a 60-year-old man... All right, so we know all that. Now a report, thanks to also to, has shed light on the circumstances of it and the petty reasons behind it. Unbelievable. Absolutely. I don't know how people say that, Rich, you saying 20 years and all this is too draconian. These people aren't going to care unless their life is ruined. 5 years is nothing. What are they, like, in their, like, 15, 16? They don't give a shit. Every time someone gets swatted, even with the 2 soft swatting incidents that happened to me, where one was just literally one cop showed up to my door because he was a family friend, and the other time where the cops came here and they just looked around the house real quick because I gave him a heads up. But it doesn't matter. you are still, every fucking time you do that, you are literally, I'm not even a hair trigger away from something bad happening. Whether it's something like this where this guy died of a heart attack or someone literally gets shot like what happened with Tyler Barris, every fucking time these swatting incidents happen, there's always this chance. That's why, in my opinion, it should be, if you are caught, 20 years. No question. No question about it. 20 years. Now, again, there's psychopaths out there, whether they're 14 or 44, that don't give a shit, that they'll still do it anyway. No, like I said, no law stops every crime. There's plenty of laws against murder. There's plenty of laws against bank robbery. There's plenty of laws against rape. And they all still happen, unfortunately. But there's a lot of people that will think twice about it. Yeah, I got swatted twice. I call them soft swats, man, because they really were non-issues both times. 2 times it happened. They were non-issues. I won't over-exaggerate them and clutch my pearls, because it's not like I had a gun held up to me, God forbid. It wasn't like, it was, I did the right thing. They knew, and they're like, yeah, and they came and checked, and that was it. Fuck, that make it 40 years. Damn, you're tougher than me. I thought 20. It's... And then you have people that are in jail for the rest of their life due to 3 strikes because of fucking marijuana. And these pieces of shit get a slap. I don't know, like, how many more people need to die of this to make them realize that the punishment's not harsh enough? I don't get it. I don't understand it. So, I mean, I don't really know what other proof that you need. So this is another story that people wanted me to talk about. Was what's going on with Blizzard, what's going on with Ubisoft. Now, is this part of it up here? Is this a video that we could watch? Of course, they're not gonna. I'm lost. Why are employees allowed to drink on the job? The whole Activision Blizzard thing confuses me. I didn't even know that we're looking into it now. So this comes from CNN. In 20 years, you'll be this poor guy's age. Yeah. And imagine, over something so petty, just to make a few bucks. Like, yo, go get a job working at a coffee shop, man. Like, you're really gonna, but yeah, there's people that are fucking psychos out there. It's just infuriating, and it's just so exhausting that it's still, what can we do? What can we do? Like, I look what's happening to, like, Sweet Anita. What can we, and their laws are actually more draconian when it comes to online cyber stalking, at least in the States. But that's like saying, but the States, they do absolutely nothing. You get cyber stalked. It's like, oh, did they threaten you? No. Oh, okay, sucks. Oh my God, CNN with the ads, man. Look, as a guy who makes money off of ad revenue too, that kid will get out at the age of 20 to 25. I don't know about you, but being in your 20s means this kid has a lot of time to be more of a, yeah. And if anything, a lot of times they get out of prison and they're more emboldened. So, I don't know. I mean, and a lot of times these guys that do, they are so, like, look at Tyler Barris. He had no remorse for it. There was a computer kiosk that he got onto his social media bragging about how much fucking swag and shit he was being sent in prison. Like, he was the exact opposite of he was emboldened by it. He thought he was a badass. Jesus Christ, man. Like, these are, these are bad. This isn't like, okay, I'm sure some of them are just dumbass kids who don't realize the scope of what they're doing, but that's the small exception. That's the minority. The majority of them, they know the risk there is. Now, there's been so many horror stories. They know what it is. They don't care. They're bad people. You know what I mean? All right, so this is what's going on. Tyler Barris is the EDP port. Yeah, EDP is kind of the same. EDP is at least put on the front. He's like, yo, I'm alpha male. Like, yeah, dude, no, you're not. You're 600 pounds and you tried to fuck a 13-year-old. You are the epitome of what a non-alpha male is. You could come in with all your fucking bravado you want to, but you're a joke. You're the laughing stock of YouTube. No, no one should be swatted. Let the law deal with EDP 445. Yeah, trying to act tough on the internet after you sent nudes and a log of your shit to what you thought was a 13-year-old girl. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking loser. Anyway, how do I really feel? So California's, this is regarding Activision Blizzard. Yeah, he just wanted a cupcake. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot is likely complicit in the cover-ups that the highest profile accuses former VP Maxime Bilan. He must have known. Oh, of course, I'm sure he did, man. Just like Subway knew about Jared Fogle. But when there's a lot of money to be made, they just like sweep it under the rug. Course. Yeah, I know. How dare I use CNN to cite something? I've used Fox before. Like, why do people do that? Not saying you, Bio. Why do people do that? People do it with gaming articles too. Oh, you got it from IGN. Oh, you got it from Kotaku. Oh, you got it from GameSpot. Oh, you got it from Comic Book. I don't believe it. Like, where am I supposed to get it from? Maybe I'll go back to oneangrygamer.net.
Fuck you! Give me my chicken!
There we go. There's the applause. There's the applause. You know, even though he considers me a traitor to America, he could go fuck himself too. Review fuck yourself, USA. I'm a traitor to America. Fuck out of here, weirdo. Anyway. California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed a civil lawsuit Tuesday against one of America's largest video game developers, Activision Blizzard, alleging multiple female employees were subjected to gender discrimination, sexual harassment, and unequal pay. DFEH alleges that women were subjected to constant sexual harassment, including groping. Okay, that's where I'm like, yee shit. Comments and advances, the state agency said in a press release. The lawsuit also alleges that the company's executives and human resources personnel knew of the harassment and failed to take responsible steps to prevent the unlawful conduct and instead retaliated against women who complained. Wow. Okay, so the groping and the retaliation. See, here's the thing. Again, I always say to take what a woman's allegation seriously. 93 or more, no, it's 97% of the time they're being truthful in these situations. But again, I think there should be an investigation before heads are chopped. Okay, before it should be the court of law, not the court of public opinion. But when you say retaliation and groping, oh God, that's rough. Rich, be careful reading the suicide statement one. I want to puke at that one. What do you mean? Hey, Rich, I have a question about Pandora's box. We open it and let it beat the shit out of you? Yeah, sure. I think I used that quote. Yes, Dead Space remake teaser. Check it out. I did. It looks pretty fucking amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. A spokesperson for Activision Blizzard, the company known for creating popular games including Call of Duty and World of Warcraft, told CNN, I love my monitor is dying on me, told CNN they are taking the allegations seriously, which should be done, and have launched internal investigations for all the claims. And that's where I'm like, let them do the investigation. Ubisoft, we're going to look into that next. Covered Michael Ansell's toxic behavior. That's even worse. When they cover the behavior, that is like... And you know what sucks is I feel bad for these women because, like I said, minus the few and far between exceptions, they're all being truthful. And they get shit because of like that. Remember that one person, the woman who was in college who said she was gang raped and she wasn't. She just wanted to have a fucking orgy. But she didn't want her boyfriend to break up with her, so she said she was raped. And then when they gave her, they sentenced her, she rolled her eyes. She ruins it for the rest of them that are being truthful. Anyway. We value diversity and strive to foster a workplace that offers inclusivity for everyone. Of course, they're going to say the generic shit. Said Kevin Liu, director of corporate communications at Activision Blizzard. There is no place in our community or industry or any industry for sexual misconduct or harassment of any kind. California's lawsuit contradicts the company's claims, alleging Activision Blizzard fostered a frat boy work culture where female employees have to continually fend off unwanted sexual comments and advances by their male co-workers, the filing says. Liu told CNN action has been taken to address past issues involving cases of misconduct, blasting the state's filing and investigation as inaccurate and distorted. The picture the DFE paints is not the Blizzard workplace of today. Over the past several years and continuing since the initial investigation started, we've made significant changes to address company culture and reflect more diversity within our leadership teams. The state, however, alleges in its lawsuit Activision Blizzard maintains a leadership team held exclusively by white men with few women in top roles. DFEH also claims female employees receive lower starting pay and are promoted more slowly than their male counterparts. That I would have to see, like they would have to show evidence of that. But the other stuff is brutal. The gaming company told CNN they have strived to pay all employees fairly and have also enhanced internal programs to create channels for employees to report violations. We are confident in our ability to demonstrate our practice as an equal opportunity employer that fosters a supportive, diverse, and inclusive workplace for our people, and we are committed to continuing this effort in the years to come. Activision Blizzard is a leading gaming platform headquartered in Santa Monica, California, with approximately 9,500 total employees and over 100 million players worldwide. Okay. So let me... A female employee committed suicide from Activision Blizzard? That I didn't read. This report is from 2 years of investigation by that government agency. Ooh, okay. So that definitely puts some more validity to it. FF14 going burr right now with the new subscribes. What's going on with Final Fantasy 14? Mean this corporate bull speak is disingenuous. Yeah, it's all cliche. Oh, we're inclusive and we're this. Like, no. Especially now this has been a multi-year investigation. I'm sure that virtually all the claims are truthful. There's two things if you're dealing with harassment at your job, you have to speak up about it. I skipped your super chat, David Hicks. Did I? You get your news from the quartering. Yes, I get my news from the quartering. That report about the suicide, pre-read it, Rich. I didn't hear about the suicide. I just heard about, or reread it, you mean? I looked at it. What else did I look at with this today? Well, I looked it up. Let's look at that then. Activision suicide. Let's look here. In the lawsuit, state officials accused top executives at Activision Blizzard, all white males, of allowing other male employees to routinely torment female co-workers. The workplace culture had grown so toxic that one female employee committed suicide. Oh, Jesus Christ. According to the suit. And before the dude bros come out of the work, before the dude bros, oh, this is even more interesting, man. We got some more shit here. We got drunken cube crawls. Oh, this is getting real fucking good. Oh, Christ. The whole every voice matters thing they created on the Blizzard campus is BS now. Yeah, isn't that deliciously ironic when they were, yeah. I got a Pixio 279p had an issue that the tech support was awesome. They fixed the issue quick. They've now got a lifetime. What is a 279p? I'm not even sure what that is, man. The Pixio 279p. So, in the office, women are subjected to cube crawls in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol. Why are they even allowed to drink at fucking work? That should have fired them instantly as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and often engage in inappropriate behavior towards female employees. Like, you can't think at this point that this is being made up and this is, oh, just... No, there's no way... Yeah, every voice matters unless you're a woman or unless you're from Hong Kong. This is not just, oh, just get over it, man. Deal with it. Because I know that's the kind of shit that people are going to, like, no. They're doing drunken cube crawls and going around grabbing titties. Activision Blizzard. Why did the articles that... I picked that article, but the articles I read before this didn't have this. This is crazy. Oh, it's one of their monitors? Yeah. I don't get what the fuck... I love LG's TVs. Their monitors, I can't fucking stand them. I've never... Despite complaints made by women employees to human resources, company officials never took meaningful action to improve conditions. Yeah, no shit. The lawsuit alleges leading to a big lack of trust by female employees in Activision's HR team. And before everyone says too, oh, she could have, that woman who committed suicide could have just got another job. It's not that easy. You can't, like, people, you can't, when you have bills to pay, until you have another job to go to, you can't just walk away from it. I mean, what is it in the States anyway that people are literally living paycheck to paycheck that if they have a $400 emergency, it'll bankrupt them or financially ruin them? People don't have that luxury. It's not like, oh, I got a savings, I'm good. Most people don't. No, you can't, aesthetic. No, you can't. Yeah, and especially if they're ruining their reputation. Oh, you walk out. I don't know if we could recommend you. Like, come on, man. Anyway. Despite complaints made by women employees, company officials never took meaningful action to improve conditions. I already read that. According to a suit, a female employee committed suicide while on a company trip due to a sexual relationship he had been having with her male supervisor. Oh, for Christ's sake. Can I say one thing? And I've learned this from like a job I used to work at that was basically like a party all day. Don't shit where you eat. Don't date a coworker. Especially it's 100% mortal sin. If you're in a position of power, like you're an assistant manager or a manager, do not date one of your employees. Just don't do it. It's a bad idea. It may seem okay, but then if it goes south, you have to work with that person. What happens? It's just horrible idea. Don't do it. I've made the mistake. I know many other people that have too. You think when you're young, you think it's fine. It's awful. Don't fucking do it. According to the suit, a female employee committed suicide while on a company trip due to a sexual relationship she had been having with her male supervisor. He should be fired instantly. Court documents state that the deceased woman had been suffering from continuous sexual harassment at work prior to her death, including an incident at a holiday party where male coworkers passed around a graphic nude photo. Oh my God. You still going to say to get over it at that point? What pieces of shit the lawsuit claims. Have to say claims, have to say alleged, but come on. Yeah, I just the lady, yeah, even if you have a different, you still have to deal with the mental strain of it, the damages of having your nudes. Yeah, dude, this is insane. You should check out Alana Pierce's video, and I am going to check out her. We'll watch that too. We'll watch. Article left out the butt plug and lubricant with the higher up. Stop it. Really? Anyway. Activision Blizzard criticized California officials in this statement, saying that the Fair Employment Department was supposed to investigate the workplace and have good faith discussions with leadership about their findings, but didn't do so. As soon as you say good faith, you can't trust shit. What the good faith? Good faith. The company also said it was insensitive for state officials to mention the deceased employee. I don't agree with that. They need to put it out there. What happened? Because this is horrific. How is it insensitive? This is an atrocity what fucking happened. What the fuck is insensitive about any of this? We are sickened. This is Activision saying this. We are sickened by the reprehensible conduct of the DFEH, yeah, because you're damage controlling, the drag into the complaint, the tragic suicide of an employee whose passing has no bearing whatsoever on this case with no regard for her grieving family. But it does. It ties into everything else that's going on there. So what the fuck are you talking about, Activision? According to the DFEH in its complaint, attempts made by the agency to resolve the dispute without litigation were unsuccessful. So they tried, but you didn't. Unreal. Mitch McConnell said that? Mitchell, I see above you. I see a couple. If I was the head of a company and something like this happened, I would fucking fire everyone. I'd have been throwing papers in the boardroom, and anyone involved would have been fired and blacklisted. You know, and the problem is man, like I said, I worked at a place that kind of was like, it was a party there, and we would go out and party. Man, with the life experiences I have now, I would, if I was I'm thinking back to the management there, and I'm like, what the, you know, everyone would flirt with each other. I did it too, admittedly, and I remember like girls were sitting on guys' laps at the job, and I would have been like, everybody now, rich of 40, would have been like, fucking stop. I'm going to let you know once. I'm going to let you know once only. I see this shit on my job. You are fired. This is your one and only warning. Especially at restaurants, that shit was like that too. Oh, it was, you know. But now, knowing what I know now, hell no. Times have changed, man. And as you know, it's not even times have changed, but as an adult, like you look back at that, and I'm like, and the managers there were like my age, and I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck would you have allowed this? I mean, no, none of it was okay. None of it was okay. And the thing is, like I said before too, don't shit where you eat. Do not, I don't care if it's just an employee and you're not management, do not, here you want some life advice? Look, man, I'm sure like you guys are in your early 20s, some of you, and you work with good looking girls and they may be interested in you. Do not, there's plenty of good, go on a dating app and find a good looking girl outside of your job. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Or a guy, it doesn't, whoever you're dating, like, do not date someone that you're working with. Let me catch up here. Should workplaces bar employees from dating? I would. If I had like I have me and my editor up in Canada, but if I had like employees, if I caught them dating, I would fire them. It would be instant. You would be instantly fired. I have learned from mistakes. No way. No fucking way. No way. That would be an instant, like, as soon as I found out and proved it, you would be gone. Both people. Both people. And they used to just allow it. People used to joke around and flirt and all. I mean, and I'm just and looking back at, like I said, at the management there, I'm like, why would you allow this? Like, you know, it was like a bunch of, you know, my manager was my roommate, my friend. It was just a mess. It was just a mess. No fucking way I would allow that shit at if I owned a business. No fucking way. You could say I'm a tight ass. No. And it's their fault. She did that. They can't hold the goalposts of who can be mentioned when they call. Yeah, it was caused by what's going on. It's absolutely relevant to what's going on here. So Activision Blizzard can shut the fuck up. I'm done with Activision Blizzard. You should check out Some Ordinary Gamers. By the way, did you get my Twitter DM about? I did not get your Twitter DM. I'll check that out. We'll look at Alana Pierce's video. The entire statement discredits the women who came forward by saying the government that lasted 2 years. Yeah, this isn't like I read that before too. This isn't like it's just something like, oh, they just made like a week ago. Like they looked into this for a long time. So the get woke, go broke people out there that are like anti-SJW, everything, like, oh, they're just crying. Like, shut the fuck up. This is not something that's just like a he said, she said thing. This is a in-depth investigation by a government agency or a state agency, I should say. Don't even hand me that shit. There's other, if you want that narrative handed to you, there's plenty of other channels that'll spoon feed you that grift. Yeah. Lights, camera. You should check out a video on this as well. I will. F Activision. Yeah, seriously. I've got a video about the whole thing, Rich, if you want to watch it all off stream. I'll check it out. You got to send it to me, though. Can you send me a wave file of the fart you use? Yes, Jeffrey. I've been learning drums and want to make a beat. You want to make a beat with my fart? That's quite interesting. Casual reminder that Bobby Kotick's name was in Jeffrey Epstein's little black book. Oh, that's a shocker. I'm so shocked. This is my shocked face. Bet he went to that island, too, with President Clinton. Makes me sad when companies like Konami and Activision don't see how this stuff won't catch up and ruin them. But dude, because it becomes a power play. And what happens to this is why another thing, I know I sound like a tight ass, but I've seen this all before, man. I've seen this all before. And I'm not saying don't make friends with people at jobs, and I'm not, but just like keep it separate. Because once you start intermingling your personal life with your business, I've seen it. It's nothing but disaster. Like even when I worked at like Outback, and people would go to parties and hook up, and then they would fight later, and then it would be really awkward working with them. And it's like, this is not the way it should be. Even there, I would have been like, yo, especially in the restaurant business, it seems to be like, I think it's more weird if you don't hook up with somebody that you worked with there. I would never, if I ran a restaurant, I would never allow it for that fucking reason, because it just, there's a toxicity that comes because if people, you know how it is, man, you awkward relationship, you break up, you know. So Activision Blizzard is a Fortune 500 company that has about 9,500 employees worldwide, 20% which are women, according to court documents. This, like I said, okay, so again, Any other time I would have been like, all right, let's see something first, because this sometimes is like a blanket statement of pay disparity. Okay. And there's a lot of that that's been debunked. However, this company's been looking into this shit for a couple years, so I tend to accept more of this. At least EA is just greedy. We don't know if they're just greedy, but yes, of course, this is not coming forward with them, so we'll give them that. What Activision Blizzard did was downright, it was deplorable. Female employees are often assigned lower level and lower paying jobs. The lawsuit alleges when women are promoted slower, fired faster, hired based on their looks. State officials said, I have actually, not at Activision, but I've seen that in other places where I know women that got the job not because of their qualifications. Activision Blizzard dismissed those allegations as well. We reward and compensate employees based on their performance, and we conduct extensive anti-discrimination trainings, including for those who are part of the Basically what they did was they probably just like popped a DVD on an old CRT TV. This is what you don't do. And training. Worked in a restaurant for about 8 years, never hooked up with anyone because you're smart. There's no reason, with how many fucking dating apps are out there, there's no reason to hook up with someone in 2021 at your job. There is no reason. I feel as someone has been ordering food to my house during my streams 8 times last night. I've had that happen a few times too, Camelot. There's a lot of rejects on this fucking planet. Activision Blizzard is just one of... Hold on, my eye is itching. Activision Blizzard is just one of the list of employers accused in recent years of cultivating toxic male workplace environments. Barstool Sports, WeWork, Uber, along with the news organizations, tech companies have struggles making their offices harassment-free for female employees. All employers should ensure that their employees are being paid equally and take all steps to prevent discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. The Fair Employment Department Director, as Kevin Kish said in the statement, this is especially important for employers in male-dominated industries such as technology and gaming. What a fucking shit show, man. What an absolute shit show. And this is, like, again, this isn't just a he said, she said with an allegation and just like a blog statement. This was an extensive investigation. Dating apps don't work for men. Really? I have 3 children that would refute that one. But anyway. So, let's move on to what's going on with... This is Ubisoft Singapore. Let me look up. Did I pick the wrong article? Ubisoft allegation. What did I copy and paste the wrong fucking article? All right, here we go. This is actually the BBC one. This is the one I was supposed to have. That's 2020. That's old. What the fuck? Oh, because it's Bing. That's why. Ubisoft. Oh my god, this monitor is driving me up a tree. May. That's 2020. I thought this was something new. I had a BBC article that was new. Dating at Rich, I'm about to chug this beer. Hype me up. You need to chug that beer, boy. Just go, even if it's disgusting and warm, just drink it. Just make sure it's not skunk, because I don't want you to get alcohol poisoning. Worked in Chili's for 2 years straight and caught the cook and the bus lady banging in the storage. Still have PTSD to this day. Oh, dude, of course. That shit happens all the time. Let me see. Maybe Kotaku usually has good coverage of this shit. Ubisoft's Me Too reckoning. This all seems from 2020. I thought this should happen now. I had where was the BBC goddamn article that I had? Well, Sekiro wasn't. Well, let's go back to here. Report details toxic cultural harassment and racial pay disparity at Ubisoft Singapore. Let me enlarge this. A new report has given another insight into the toxic culture reportedly at play within Ubisoft's development studios, this time concerning its Singapore branch. Kotaku has published an expose to more than 20 former and current staff members from the studio, one of whom describes Singapore as one of the worst Ubisoft studios in terms of culture. Accusations include sexual harassment, bullying by managers, and racial pay disparities, which, with much of the toxicity occurring under the leadership of Hugh Ricor. Ricor, if I'm saying the name wrong, I apologize, was accused of sexual harassment by multiple, I remember hearing this back in 2020, which came in the wake of the first major wave of allegations against senior Ubisoft staff. In November, it was reported he had been removed from his role as studio head of Ubisoft Singapore, although his LinkedIn profile indicates he held the position until February. He remains at Ubisoft, currently in the role of production intelligence director and based at the Ubisoft Paris headquarters. Kotaku reports he was replaced by Darryl Long, formerly head of Ubisoft Winnipeg, with sources claiming he is in an improvement, but alleged pay disparities and other issues are still ongoing. Created in 2008, the office is primarily a co-development operation that contributes to the likes of Assassin's Creed and Immortals Phoenix Rising, although it has been leading work on the long-in-development multiplayer pirate outing Skull and Bones. Sources claim the Singapore government gave Ubisoft hefty subsidies in hopes that the studio would train up local talent who would eventually take over the studio themselves. But while Ubisoft has reportedly taken the subsidies, leadership is still granted to expats rather than local staff, as demonstrated by the appointment of Long to replace Ricor. Furthermore, Kotaku's sources report big differences in pay for local staff compared to those who move to Singapore to work at the studio. That's horrible. That happens all the time, with some of the former still having to live with parents due to their low salaries. Wow. The gap is reported between 5,000 to 10,000 per year in many instances, although there are examples of wider disparities. IBM used to do that. They would have people come in from different countries who were well-educated, very talented people, like India. I think they even had a bunch of people from the UK, and they would pay them less than someone they would have to pay in the States. It's disgusting, man. There is also allegedly a free sailing, making it harder for anyone not from France or fluent in the language to succeed. This is said to be particularly true for Southeast Asia employees or women. The report also suggests an ineffective HR department, which, while primarily managed by locals, is forced to follow the priorities of general management in production, according to sources. It is claimed that sexual harassment incidents are swept under the rug. I believe it. Kotaku says. One says that led to a formal review, resulted in nothing more than a formal warning and mandatory training in cultural sensitivity. That training shit is worthless. Yeah, I'm going to check out Kotaku in a minute. You can read the full report at Kotaku. Here, let's go to Kotaku. All right, so I got to blow this up because I'm old and fucking blind. There we go. Ubisoft Singapore, all right, make sure it's has always been kind of internally to be one of the worst Ubisoft studios in terms of culture, said one former developer, a publisher of Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. People would visit from other studios and be like, what the fuck is wrong here? That's a good initial reaction to have. That's a heartwarming initial reaction to have. More than any other publisher of its size, Ubisoft loves to spotlight the people behind its games. Developer interviews are featured prominently on the company's website and social media channels. Its writers, designers, programmers, and artists appear at E3 and other industry events to geek out about their projects and help put a human face on $100 million products. But the reality on the studio floor is very different, and Ubisoft Singapore is a perfect example. I want to create a video game studio and prevent and deal with sexual harassment. But what about benign sex jokes? See, that's the thing where how gray should the gray area be? When is a joke and when does a joke go too far? And in every circumstance, it can be different, and that's where it gets tough. You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's where shit gets kind of weird. Hold on one second. Just want to make sure I didn't get anything important here. Nope. Okay. Ubisoft Singapore, which has led development on the pirate blockbuster Skull and Bones and co-developed Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Immortals Phoenix Rising, was created in 2008. In exchange for setting up shop on the tropical island city-state and hiring local talent, Singapore's government would provide the French company with generous subsidies, according to three sources' knowledge of the agreement. Like the 17 studios that came before it, Ubisoft Singapore would help the mega publisher churn out sequels for franchises like Assassin's Creed. In return, local talent would be trained up, jump-starting a new game development revolution in Singapore and eventually taking the reins of the growing studio themselves. They had 10 years to integrate. Years later, some say that hasn't quite happened. Ubisoft soaked up the government subsidies. Shocker! That happens in the States all the time. Oh, we'll give IBM a subsidy. We'll give Amazon a subsidy. We'll give them tax cuts. Oh yeah, by the way, we won't give them air conditioning either, and the employees will pass the fuck out. And then they just pocket the tax cuts, pocket the subsidies, and nothing fucking happens. Nothing fucking happens. So, Ubisoft soaked up the government subsidies while not paying some local junior developers enough to move out of their parents' homes. Some would eventually filter out of the studio after gaining experience working on global blockbusters, while others who stayed were rarely promoted to the highest reaches of its managerial and creative departments. Some said the de facto arrangement could even give Ubisoft Singapore the feel of a colonial outpost in a country with a history of domination by European powers. Some workers described the unofficial pitch as go do a 1 or 2 year tour in the exotic Ubisoft Singapore, enjoying the tropical climate and easy access to nearby vacation hotspots in neighboring countries, and maybe even find romance along the way. Oh, that's a nice way to pitch it. They had 10 years to integrate, said one former developer. They just value the face of the company more than the actual employees. It's horrible, but I know so many companies that are like that. It's like when Jeff Bezos thanked, when he went into space, hey, I'm the richest person on the planet. Thanks, Amazon employees that I wouldn't even give air conditioning to and have them do unreasonable amounts of work that's basically slave labor. Eat a dick. I'm going in a cock rocket to space. But thank you. While problems at Ubisoft Montreal, Toronto, Quebec, Montpellier, and the head Paris office have been widely documented, Ubisoft Singapore has gotten less attention. But based on interviews with over 20 current and former employees there was no shortage of issues ranging from sexual harassment and racial pay disparities to bullying by managers. Most of the middle management and staff are absolutely lovely, talented people with the potential to make amazing games, said one former employee. But bad projects, toxic leaders, and the feeling that developers weren't empowered in the face of office politics could often sabotage that potential. Many of those toxic working conditions happen under the leadership of Huey Ricoeur. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Former managing director at the studio who was responsible for overseeing the growth and how resources were deployed across various projects. The head was rotten, so the body was incapable of functioning properly. I've seen that happen at places too. One developer said of his tenure. Ricoeur was eventually forced out of his role at Ubisoft Singapore last fall, to the relief of many developers who spoke with Kotaku, but many were shocked to hear that he would remain at the company as production intelligence director in Ubisoft's headquarters, now responsible for operational matters on the publisher's AAA games. Yeah, why would you fucking keep the guy there when you know he's a piece of shit? According to his LinkedIn page. The company said that the results of new leadership audit made it clear he couldn't carry on as a studio's boss, though for many, Ricoeur's toxic management style was an open secret for years. When asked for comment, he referred to Kotaku to Ubisoft PR. Yeah, I love when they do that. In response to many of these allegations, Ubisoft released the following statement. It refused to answer specific questions or concerns raised by Kotaku based on its reporting or make anyone available for interview. We celebrate our international culture at Ubisoft and work to ensure our teams are deeply integrated into local communities where we operate. We do not and we will not tolerate abuse, harassment, or discrimination at any level. Ubisoft Singapore is proud of the studio culture that has been built over the last 13 years with 35 nationalities, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't. So let me. All the people Kotaku spoke with for the piece were granted anonymity, if I could talk today, because they were either not authorized to speak to the press or feared that speaking out about a past employer might hurt their careers in the video game industry. Don't you love that? It's like the fucking mafia. You speak, we'll destroy you. It's fucking surreal, man. That's why I'm kind of glad I do what I do, because I could basically tell anybody to fuck off. Ubisoft was founded by French brothers, including a current CEO, Yves Guillemot, back in 1986. Despite having grown to nearly 20,000 employees with offices all over the world, much of its core leadership remains French or French-Canadian, even in places as far-flung as Ubisoft Singapore. A few people nicknamed it the French Mafia. Others refer to it as French Connection, whatever they decided to call it. Many who Kotaku spoke with felt there was a French ceiling at Ubisoft Singapore that made it hard for those from other countries who didn't speak the language to succeed, especially if they were the Southeast Asia or women. I could buy that too. I could buy that. Meetings might begin in English, the official language on the studio floor, but they would eventually transition into French, where someone had a question or if people broke out into side conversations. While a few developers said there was a concerted effort to put an end to this practice over the years, they felt the underlying hierarchy remained, both in the terms of office politics and in terms of pay. If you're not French, you have to take their side and cover up for their mistakes. Wow. We have a joke. There's a French multiplier and there's a skin color multiplier. For a number of positions on a government site that posts new jobs for current and former employees, told Kotaku that local employees might be paid just below minimum salary range listed, while expats were paid somewhere in the middle, and the difference could add up to anywhere, we read this before, between $5,000 and $10,000 a year or more in some instances. That's insane. That's like a life-changing amount of salary money each year. That could go from having to live at home with your parents to actually be able to afford a semi-comfortable apartment. The salary gap between locals and expats are just insane. All right, I got to take a piss real quick. I'll be right back. I got to pee. I thought this was shorter. Got to pee. Be right back. Data's back. I'm like, Wings of Redemption. Well, actually, he has regular Pepsis. Little small cans. Small cans. All right. So, hey, that's a Mercedes-Benz ad in my face. Every blockbuster game studio outsources work to other markets. The spiraling cost of AAA development all but necessitates it. Ubisoft just so happens to have created a sprawling network of global studios to help do so internally, and the payoff can be huge. Everyone who spoke at Kotaku praised Singapore's creative output when it came to co-production. Same thing like manufacturing. That's why a lot of shit's manufactured, especially in China. Cuts down the costs. Increases profit margins. Ubisoft Singapore is an amazing collaborative studio. Every time they work with another project, a new Assassin's Creed or even an Immortals Phoenix Rising, all those parts are really great, sometimes even the best parts of the game, said one former developer. But the spoils aren't shared evenly. In addition to the claims of racial pay disparity, 3 former developers claim that senior managers at the studio are paid significantly more than their counterparts overseas at studios like Massive or Ubisoft Montreal. Following a year of fraught development and delays amidst the global pandemic, 2021 pay raises at Ubisoft Singapore were limited to just 2 to 3% on average. According to the 2 sources with knowledge of the decision, it was a slap in the face to some at a time when competitors were already paying much more. Such measly raises also make it hard for locals and junior developers to ever catch up to the other peers in the industry in what is already a low-paying company, they said. The shareholders need to get paid, one recently departed developer said, and they have been. In May, Ubisoft announced record sales of $128 million in profit for the year prior. That's why it's always amazing to me when these companies, who's messaging me? Hold on. Anyway. Multiple current and former developers said HR wasn't helpful. Where's my mouse? Multiple current and former developers said HR wasn't helpful when it came to other complaints as well because their hands get tied by the leadership. If the leadership wants a problem to go away, there's only so much HR could do because the same leadership could fire the HR. That I've seen as well. When sexual harassment occurred, HR appeared to brush it under the rug. They said one former developer recalled a painful incident in 2018 when she was walking back from an elevator into the office with a coworker who unexpectedly started rubbing her shoulders. Yeah, oh my God. All the flirting that used to go on at that other job I was at, and I look back at that now, I would have never, like I said, if I was a manager there, I would have given a warning once because maybe they were used to that environment. And then if I would have let him, I would have fired him. If I ever open up a restaurant or something like that, which I may do in the distant future, I'm going to have a no dating policy. If I find out 2 people are dating, no fucking way. Because this is what it leads to. This is what it leads to. If you allow, oh, Rich, they're human. You can't tell adults. At my job, I can tell you what the fuck to do. If I find out you could try to sneak and do it outside of work. If I find out you're doing it, though, and if I have proof of it, yeah, I'm going to fucking fire your ass. I've seen the disasters. I've worked in places with the disasters. Like I said, one of the jobs I worked at, man, everyone acted. The women, the men, me, we acted like idiots. I would never allow that. And I'll admit to it now. I would never allow the shit that went on there. Who's getting drunk at whose house? Who's making out with who? No fucking way. Absolutely no fucking way. It's a job. It's not. I'm not saying don't be friends. I'm not saying like not to joke around. I'm not saying I want robots, but they're like what is it called? What do they call it? Fraternizing? No fucking way. Absolutely none. I mean, the pay disparities and stuff like that, that's other issues that have to be dealt with. But with no, there's no fuck. You want to find a man or a woman? Go on a fucking dating app. It's because this is what it leads to. I know that may seem draconian, but if I open a place, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. Guys call hookers over and fuck them. They would be fired by me if I was their boss. They would be fucking fired. I wouldn't. You know, and as someone who was like with the place I worked at, it was like I literally felt like all the dudes, and I was part of it, was part of a fraternity, and women would be sitting on the guys' laps, and who would be flirting with who, and who would be hooking up with who. No, and the managers knew at a couple jobs I worked at, man. The managers knew, and I look back at that, and I'm thinking, like I used to think, oh, they're so cool for letting all this, and I'm thinking back now, I'm like, no, they're not. They're not cool. They're not cool at all. That was the worst thing you could do, and that's why there was a lot of problems at those places. No. I mean, in my defense, I was in my early 20s back. I remember there was this girl I worked with, and she would joke like really raunchy, and she like called herself like these hoe biscuits. So I kept on, and this is me admitting to my mistakes, and I would never do this now, but I've grown as a person. That's why I'm admitting to this. And I used to keep on calling her hoe biscuits over and over and over again. I remember this other girl saying, hey man, that's disparaging. That's not okay. And she was right. But I remember thinking it's just a joke, but it's not just a joke. You can't do shit like that. You can't do shit like that. I was a young, stupid idiot. Partially in my defense, but all the shit that went on there, I knew that managers were hooking up with people behind the back desk. Like who was fucking who outside. Like I would like 40-year-old Rich, who's had a lot more life experience. I would have lost my shit. If I saw me calling a woman hoe biscuits, I would have fired me right then and there. I don't care if she said it out of your mouth. You're sitting there saying it to her over and over and over again, thinking that you're funny. Get the fuck out of my office. I would have said that to me. Hoe, like hooker, hoe biscuit. Yeah, exactly. There is no tolerance for that shit. If I met her now, I would have. If I seen her now, I haven't seen her in like 20 years, I would apologize to her now for that. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. And I would never tolerate. Like if I was my manager, if I was a manager of me back then, and I saw someone else doing what I was doing, I would have fired me in a second. I would have fired me. I don't know how they didn't. I have no idea how they didn't. I would have been like, that's teetering on harassment, bro. What are you fucking doing? Or at least I would have written me up and read the riot act to me. A lot of people wouldn't admit to that shit, but I've grown as a person. And it just brings up the point. There should be, I'm not saying don't be friends. I'm not saying don't joke around and not be human beings. But there's no fucking reason, like the partying and stuff like that, the flirting, especially the dating. No. And if I catch you doing it, if I ever have a business like that, like I said, I want to open up a restaurant in like the city in a few years, you're gone. You're fucking gone. Period. Rich, you ever tried Dolby controller? I have not. For the Nintendo Switch, I have not. Rich, we have Carlos. We're holding him until you hit the fart button. How about that? And most people wouldn't admit that about themselves, but I know that was a mistake. I know that was a mistake. Most people would like wait until someone said it about them. Like, no, because I know that was wrong, and you grow as a person. That was dumb. You know what I mean? So no partying after. If I find out that they could party after work, but if I find out that 2 of my employees are screwing around, they won't be employed there anymore. I'm not saying that, hey, if you want to, you could have 20 women on the side that don't work at my office. If that's your thing, go ahead. I'm not invading in your sex life, but if you work together, no, I don't want you hooking up. Sorry. You could think I'm an asshole. I've seen the disaster that it causes. No, absolutely not. Don't like it? Go work at another job. Go work at a job where they do allow it. Sorry. You could do whatever you want to outside of work, but if it involves 2 people at work that'll affect my business, yeah, it affects my business. I've seen firsthand when people hook up or start dating that work at the same job, it never, even if they're good together, like then the favors start getting done. Like, oh, you didn't do this properly. Oh, if it was someone else, I would tell the manager, but because you're sticking your penis in me, I'm going to let it slide. No pun intended. Get the fuck out of here. Call me an asshole. Don't care. Al's Custom Shoes. You can move on if you want to. It's part of what we're talking about. I didn't miss your super chat. I haven't even gotten to it yet. I feel like I need to confess Starbucks is a zero tolerance policy for harassment. I was ultimately violated for violating. I learned but lost a lot of friends due to that. Dude, and I know it seems tough and people are pissed off here. I'm sure a lot of people that are pissed off and calling me Hitler, like, really? I'm guessing they're trolling. Probably haven't had the life experience to know why I'm saying this. As a person who probably, if I was 20-something and saw a 40-year-old man in a live stream saying this to me, I'd be like, dude, get the fuck out of here. If there's someone cute at work that wants to hook up with me, shut the fuck up. I know. I was once you. But I'm telling you, wait till you have the life experience to see how disastrous it is. And then when you're later on in life, you'll realize how bad of an idea it is. If Stalin ran a restaurant. Yeah, dude, you learn as you get older, Michael Cortez. Is it okay to toss a coworker salad? Yeah, if it's a restaurant and it's an actual salad. If you own a business, nips would be out every time. You made quarterly sales quotas. Don't lie. Dude, and when I used to work at a restaurant too, I can't believe the managers I used to walk around, not all my clothes on, but I used to pretend I was breast man. And I used to go, I'm breast man, and just walk around the aisles when it was slow while people were eating. And my managers used to laugh. Yes, it was kind of funny. But Rich now, yes, the same Rich that gets shirtless and gets stoned and talks to a chicken in his streams. If I owned a restaurant and someone was doing that, I'd be like, yo, you're getting a write-up. Do not ever sit there fucking around while people are trying to eat. Or if you want to joke in the back, go in the back of the house and joke. The fuck, those are people trying to eat. Those are paying customers. You're just sitting there walking around calling yourself breast man. What are you, fucking stupid? There's a time to joke, and there's a time where you have to be professional, and there's a time and a place for things, and there are certain things you shouldn't do. There's a way you should conduct yourself. You may call me an old man now. or you could say it's life lessons that I learned. Anyway. I was falsely accused of sexual harassment by a coworker and a manager at Panera. There was video evidence to the contrary, and my regional fired both. And that's why we could go into the argument of should there be cameras, should there not be privacy, no, at a business, never in the bathrooms there should be cameras. Yeah, that's why there should be cameras, because when stuff like that happens and someone like you is falsely accused and you have video evidence proving otherwise, that not only saved your job, that in a way saved your life. Because if, God forbid, there wasn't cameras to have the receipts to prove that you didn't do it, that would be a cross you'd have to bear forever. This is deep, dark stuff, man. While we're on the topic of messed up, so you hear about the Texas cop that assaulted a 17-year-old kid and an undocumented immigrant? I haven't seen anything about it. That's literally the first I'm hearing about it, bro. Rich, you're a hypocrite. Carlos is your... No, I'm Carlos's subordinate, man. I'm his bitch. He picks the corn from my holes, not the other way around. Well, 2 of my coworkers a restaurant just got engaged. They wouldn't be engaged at my restaurant. I'm just saying, like, if one of them, or I would give an option, actually. If one of them, if they really were that serious, I would be like, all right, but one of you can't work here. I can't have it, because I've seen it too much where when people are in a relationship, especially I've seen it where there's managers and subordinates in a relationship and they let things slide. I can't have a business that runs like that. I can't. I have witnessed firsthand the trauma the drama, the dysfunction, the disasters that ensue, and I would not accept it. I wouldn't. Can't wait for GTA 5, a decade-old game, to have slightly better lighting and ray tracing with HD detectors. Can't give things in perpetuity. Oh, rocks. Why they're re-releasing it again? Why? There's plenty of places that say you can't fraternize with other employees. What do you mean, fuck off, Rich? There's plenty of places that have it in their rules where you can't fraternize with, like, say at hotels, they have that where you can't, where the person works behind the front desk, they can't screw around with someone who's checking in there, someone who's actually staying there. Okay, then they could date more, and they could date not employed where I have my place, where I have my business. Sure, they could date. They could date unemployed for me. Too fucking bad. In 2012, grade 9, a girl tried to punch me, and I put my hands towards my face to stop her fist, and her fist hit my hands, and her fist went back and hit her, and I got called girl. Well, if that's actually the case, that's pretty fucked up. I can't know from you just saying that to me if that's what happened. It's rich for a superhero, would no doubt be breast man, of course. You're allowed to sex Carlos and have that opinion. Yes. I'm 27. When I was 25, I was hooking up with a coworker. Didn't end well. I ended up leaving the job for another. Gee, I wonder why. Well, Magic, I would have my job I would have my place of employment in a state where I could, because I've seen it time and time again, and it's toxic and disastrous. I know a lot of people are going to get pissed off at that, and that's an unpopular take, but I have seen it for years upon years at multiple places, how disastrous it ends up. I don't know what to say. Like, you could think, you could call me Stalin, you could call me Hitler. Someone's going to clip that, of course. But that's what I'm just saying I was called. But I've seen it. I don't know what else to say. And if I legally couldn't do it, I would de-incentivize it as much as possible because I know how it's going to end up. How about that? Rich just saying, but you're dealing with college students, especially if it's a restaurant. They'll porking. Oh, yeah, but if I caught it, I'm just saying, they would need to keep it completely out of my business. Side note, 2 other coworkers at the same restaurant got married last month also. Yeah, well, dude, I know it happens all the fucking time, man. I know it happens all the fucking time. I'm not saying that it doesn't. What is this? Please look up a story about a Texas cop if you can. Dude, it's crazy as hell. By the way, keep up the good work. I've been subbed to you since... All right, so I'll look it up after I'll answer these super chats and I'll look it up, man. Thank you. That's a long-ass time to be subbed to me. Well, it's not that those marriages don't last. I've heard about people meeting at their job, but I've just literally have been in the trenches. It's not me just saying this from like, oh, I read an article on MSNBC one time and there are people who hook up. And no, I've seen how toxic it becomes when people start hooking up and flirting. It just becomes an absolute mess. It becomes an absolute mess. As a customer, can I fap inside the restaurant? Not my restaurant. There are instances of coworkers dating working just fine, but those are exceptions. Yeah, they're exceptions, not the fucking rule. Breaking, Filene's under fire after allegations emerged of employee hopped on Angel just slapped asses, screaming dickers. That was actually AC Moore, but yes, that actually happened. And look, am I saying that it would admit it? And again, I don't, but beyond that, I don't care if one of my employees, man or a woman, has 20 dudes on the side or 20 women on the side. That's your personal life. But when you're at my job and your relationship is affecting your work performance and affecting the work environment, yes, that's my problem. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Yeah, if you don't work for me. Yeah, when and if I open up this restaurant in a few years, don't work for me. You know what I'm saying? Rich, no joke, the place I work at, walked in and there was a 3-way going on. And dude, there was literally people that work at Walmart that were cooking meth. I believe it. 3-way going on in the bathroom, had to go really bad. So I basically I didn't see anything. So basically, you were taking a dump while people are having an orgy? That's like a story that would happen to me. How would people dating affect work? You must not have had many jobs. How would people dating who work together affect work? Wow. JKB, touch me. There's my editor. But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, just don't work for my restaurant then. Because let's put it this way. I would if I couldn't legally, I would de-incentivize it as much as I legally could. Because I've been there. I'm not going to say it again. I know repeat myself 75 times. You know, it just, I've had 16 jobs and not once was work affected. 16 jobs. It sounds like your work was affected. I know you're kidding. That's my editor, by the way, Jay. He's probably naked right now typing. I walked in on 2 male managers in my office. It just, I mean, look, I understand human beings are sexual beings. And look, again, it's not about, what is my stream freezing? Seriously? Is my stream just go out? Really? Oh, no, it didn't. Now it's fine. Now it's fine. Refresh. All right, so let's watch Alana Pierce's video. What's going on? as I'm drinking Pepsis like wings. Tiny diet cans of Pepsi. Yeah, and I'm not saying I would treat my employees bad. Like, don't get twisted what I'm saying, but yeah, I would definitely at least de-incentivize relationships. Not friendships. Look, if you want to hang out, let me see. Death's Door. Ubisoft, Activision's. Okay, here it is.
So for anyone who missed it,
Make it. I'll move me over to the other side so you could see her. And I would treat my employees good, but yeah, hell yeah, I would de-incentivize that, man. I've seen too much. Anyway, let's see what Alana has to say instead of me repeating myself saying the same shit.
there's a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard for culture there. I've had friends who've worked there and haven't heard anything about this, but the reality of it is it's jarring to me to see so many people on Twitter who are around the industry, who are like gaming fans who don't work in the industry, go, oh my god, this is horrific. When my reaction is, oh, so it's normal. I mean, not Santa Monica Studio, where I currently work, I feel like I'm treated incredibly well. I have had 0 of those experiences, but even when I worked in tech before, the stories that I fucking have, just the shit that they did to me, like I was repeatedly like grabbed or groped at work functions, and I would complain like to their faces. I'd be like, don't fucking touch me.
And she's not the kind to, I followed her for long enough to know she doesn't clutch her pearls. And it's not just in the gaming industry, man. I've seen it in other industries too. It's fucked out there, man. Nerd Gamer, hello, Father. How are you?
And then they would be like, of course, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. And then they would do it again because me reacting to it negatively was what made it funny to them. So me going, don't fucking touch me. Leave me alone. Stop touching me is what made them go, oh, do it again. And so they would just keep doing it. People would try to kiss me, often just would kiss me without.
Like, I flirted with girls because it was, they allowed me to, or I would, like, if we were flirting, which, again, I would never allow, like, I would, like, rub shoulders because it was allowed. But how the fuck do you just go up to someone and, like, grab their, and it never, that has never happened. Holy fuck. Like, you know what? Hey, how you doing? I'm grab a titty. No!
Without my consent. Somebody like tried to put a shot into my mouth through their mouth. And I was like, I don't want any of this shit. So I went to HR. And
if they are in different departments, office relationships are fine as long as one is not a direct manager. Otherwise, it's a crazy conflict of interest. Okay. That's a nice, great, good context to add. Context is key. I mean, if I open a restaurant in a few years, that's different, but because you're all going to be working together. But if you're like in 2 different fucking buildings and you never interact with each other and you met in the parking lot and you started dating, that's fine. I agree. But if you're like, one's a direct manager or you're 2 employees that literally work arm in arm, metaphorically, and at that point, literally, it ain't good. And I've seen it firsthand. It's gonna end in fucking disaster. It's gonna end in disaster.
it was like, this place is fucked up. The shit that's happening to me here is super fucked up. And HR sent out this email, and they were like, Alana is uncomfortable at work events. So they just blatantly sent out an email and basically blamed me for my own repeated harassment.
Wow. So it's that, I've seen this too. And I've seen this again firsthand too. It's that like, oh, you want to call us out? We'll just make sure you're not conveniently part of the group. I've seen this too.
After that happened, instead of quitting, I just stopped showing up to work. I literally just abandoned that company and never went back. Basically, my point there is just, you know, I've had negative experiences in tech and at games companies. I feel like I've largely been okay at the places that I've worked, but I had negative experiences both at IGN and at Rooster Teeth. Either things that happened to me or to other people that I supported them through, to the extent that this Activision Blizzard...
Why do people say that she's lying? Like, what would she gain from lying about this? I can't stand that shit. And she would have so much to lose if she was actually lying. It would be a career... She's not lying. It would literally be career suicide if she was. So you're probably joking, but if you weren't, you're dumb. There's no reason for her to lie. She would have everything to lose if she got caught lying. I heard game devs tout about there are plenty of jobs and studios will miss out not hiring them. This is kind of hard to believe when others say getting another job is hard. Yeah, dude, it is. And especially if you become blacklisted because you were considered a snitch, you're done.
Shit that, like, watching my Twitter timeline of people who don't know be like, oh my god, this is horrific, to me is like, this is just this fucking industry. It definitely is a very big bummer. Just whenever one of these stories comes out, it always hits, I feel like every woman I know who works in the games industry sort of hard, because you're like, of course that's what happened. Of course somebody took their own life. Fucking sucks. Like, of course there needs to be actionable change, and this law.
And that makes me angry. Oh, just get another job. You know how many times, even as a dude, it's even worse for women, but even as a dude, it's like, oh, you don't like this job, just get another one. Yeah, it's all right. I'm going to magically, because the jobs are just, you know, oh, here we go for the picking, especially if it's a job that pays well. Come on, man. I hate that. So these women that are getting harassed, oh, just find another job then. Yeah, because here we go. That's just going to happen right over fucking night, right? Oh, you know, who needs lights on? Who needs to actually... I could just get evicted, or I could get, I could lose my house. I could just quit. That's how it works. It's easy.
Lawsuit, I feel like, shines a light on this thing, but am I shocked or even surprised? Not even a little bit. It's I think, like, this culture of a lot of dudes who were nerds and then got a really cool job and then now think they're hot shit and deserve any of the women in their spaces. Like, the company I was talking about, there was a running...
No, dudes are terrible everywhere. And especially if they're in a position of power at the job. I've seen this firsthand. It's like, I could do what I want to, because if they say anything, I'll just fucking ruin them. And they want to either have a job here anymore, or they'll be outcast. Not saying that she's not right, but I've seen it outside of this industry too with my own eyes, and it's bad. I've also seen where people are. One of the assistant managers that I knew, he would, they would sit down. I got to piss again too, because probably I've had basically nothing for dinner and I'm drinking a lot. Where they would hire the woman because she was hot. Or I remember I had a friend. She's like my sister. She came in just to come say hello because she was driving by. They're like, yo, we would hire her. She's hot. I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? It's weird, man.
Bet for who could sleep with me first. I didn't sleep with any of them. But there was a running, like, leaderboard within that.
Oh, speaking of men being disgusting, isn't there like a group on Discord? I was reading on this today, or on Reddit, where they're taking pictures of Sweet Anita and jerking off and coming on the pictures? That's normal. What the fuck is wrong with people?
That office for which of the male employees would get to have sex with me. Like, that's the culture of these places on a global scale. They were like, well, we just have to get Alana drunk enough, or like coerce her in the right way, or just like push it hard enough, and we'll see who can do it first. Let's like put bets on it. Like, it was fucked. Like, Yeah, I don't know. And HR at any of these companies is generally not very helpful because they try to protect the company. At one company,
well, yeah, like I said before, because their boss is the same boss that's the boss of the employees. So if they're condoning the behavior going on, it's like, don't you fucking do anything or you'll be ruined too.
I didn't want to give details of something that happened. I didn't feel comfortable doing so. Because even though something bad had happened, I was scared to get the person who did it in trouble. Super complicated. And they were like, well, we might have to fire you for obstructing company investigation then. And I was like, you're telling me, a person who has dealt with something negative, that I might get fired? What?
Yeah, because HR is scared shitless because their job is on the line if one of the cronies is the leadership. And it's like, okay, yes, this woman is genuinely being harassed, but I need to pay my mortgage, so I'm going to do what I have to do.
It's just a fucking nightmare.
It's fucked, man.
Across the board is basically my point here. And I'm not surprised about the Activision Blizzard shit, and it surprises me that anybody else is surprised. And it's really sad. And there are a lot of really great people in the industry, but yeah, the bro culture, I think is what they call it, thing is like super prevalent. If I were to ask anyone watching this of anything, it is to, if you see something or you see someone doing shit like that, like, you know that if the women who are being hit on or whatever laugh, it can often be a sign of discomfort. That doesn't mean they're okay with it. But if you see this shit and you see bros being bros and being like, who can fuck this girl first? Just please fucking say something.
Yeah, because if you don't say anything, you know what happens when women come forward. You know what happens when women come forward. You know what I mean? They come. Oh, I see people saying it here. I'm sure some are joking, but I'm sure some are genuine. Oh, she's lying. Why would she lie? Especially with everything she has to lose with lying. She's not fucking lying. Come on, man. So if you see something, you gotta say something, because then no one said anything. She's just like, no. If you say something, you could be literally saving someone's life. Or at least at minimum, making their work life a hell of a lot less stressful.
So much harder for women to say something. It's so hard. It's hard on every scale. It's also hard when it goes public, because if it does, then it's always being the victim. She's a liar. Prove it. She was asking for it. Well, this is how she looks. Like, that shit's so vicious. Just if you see a woman at your workplace being hit on, especially if it's by multiple men, I think that makes it a lot worse. It's a lot harder when there's a group of them. Just be like, maybe ask her if she's okay, and tell these people to fuck off. Like, you have to help. If you also sit by the wayside and I'm like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, I do think you're contributing to the problem, because you're...
And it's tribalism too, because they don't want to be ostracized. Because especially if it's a group of people, including the higher ups, that are part of that behavior, a lot of people don't want to speak up because they'll be blacklisted. Even if they keep their job, they'll be outcasts.
You're not the one who's at the height of discomfort. Please say something. Be like, this isn't... I don't know that saying this isn't appropriate at the workplace is going to help, but maybe even just a casual, like, hey man, leave her alone, fuck off. Don't you have a job to do? Like, just something dismissive, because otherwise you can feel like you're going through this stuff completely alone. And it ends up at a lawsuit, because nobody internally takes it seriously at all. That's...
No, until money's on the line, no one takes it seriously.
An ongoing thing, not even remotely surprised, more surprised that other people are surprised. Also don't want, like, women to shy away from getting into the games industry, but do want to encourage any women who'd be watching the stream who want to. Sometimes women...
Rich, women won't thank you. That's how you get involved. Who's looking for a fucking thank you? Who's looking for... I don't give a shit about a thank you. I don't play that shit where I placate to people, man. You know I'm critical of everybody, and whether it's a popular or unpopular opinion. Don't make it like I'm trying to get in anyone's favor. You know me fucking better than that. Don't even fucking try to do that.
and see other women as competition. Like, know that you're stronger together. Like, just talk to other women about it. It really helps. And I also don't know that, like, boycotting these companies really helps. Like, I feel like that hurts a lot of devs internally. They're gonna make money no matter what. I don't think that really helps. I think it's, I don't know what the solution for the public is when this shit happens. It just...
Yeah, I wonder if the quartering will cover any of this. I'm sure because he's unbalanced and not a grifter at all, that I'm sure this is all over his YouTube channel, right? I bet you it's not. I haven't checked. Maybe if it is, I'll give him credit. Like, look, I'll give him credit because he called out the bullshit that's the Freedom Phone, and I gave him credit for that too. Well, I'll check. Instead of me just presuming, I'll check after this video. Let's see if he actually covered any of this.
Is pretty much everywhere in tech. So yeah, if you see something, say something. Please, from the bottom of my heart, please. Fucking call people out when you see them being even a little bit creepy or too persistent. It's so much harder to do if you're by yourself. But also...
You also have to realize, though, man, Mari, not all men are like this. These are scumbags that are like this.
Don't fucking tell people about it. That's a problem too, is when people go like if I go to someone in confidence, I'm like, this is happening, can you help me? And then they go tell someone else, and then you have to deal with this like escalation of drama that you're like, I didn't want that, I just wanted your help. You can't do that either. Just try to support the people who are being treated like shit, because I promise you,
I bet you someone already
the amount of shit that women in games have to deal with, I mean, especially for women of color, but women in games in general, to also every single day have to deal with, she doesn't even really like video games. She's in the industry for attention.
So he did.
She probably doesn't know.
I haven't checked what the context of him are yet, but he did. So credit where credit's due. He did.
Know anything about video games. The amount of fucking hurdles that you have to cross and shit that you have to deal with to stay, you have to love it 10 times more than anyone else does. Otherwise, it just wouldn't be worth it. Because it's just fucking absurd. Anyway, no, most of the shit didn't happen to me. You, like, I haven't dealt with, like, a tremendous amount of terrible shit. I don't feel like I have, at least. Well, I have had one very negative experience, but, I don't want to say I'm strong, because that dismisses other people. I also, like, generally don't care. Like, I did have a boss who commented on my tits and said some other creepy shit. And I was just like, he's a pathetic old man. Who cares? Like, it doesn't... I don't know. I feel like I'm so used to it. Anyway. Just, Please be actual allies, not people who just fucking tweet stuff. Please actually stick up for people. Don't just put shit on your Twitter timeline. That's my request there.
All right, so someone checked. Shout out to Google Fish. He checked, and I always give credit where credit. I haven't watched the video, so I don't know the context of him. If he's maybe he is defending he's defending the women against the shit that's going on there. I don't know what his videos are, but he has made videos. So, all right, so let me go piss real quick. I'll be back. I'm actually wide awake right now for some reason. Holy fuck. Probably because I didn't realize there's caffeine in these too, so. And like I said, man, if he actually, oh shit, oh, nothing spilled, thank God. If he's actually calling him out, then credit where credit's due. You know, this shit should be called out. You know what I mean? Does anyone scratch their cock and sniff their fingers? No, I'm not reacting to the quartering. No. I'll watch the videos in my own time. I don't want to, because especially if I think his take is stupid, it's going to send the quartering army here, and I'm not in the mood, to be quite frank with you. You know? No, I'm just not in the mood. It's not what I feel. Oh, Erica, it happens all the fucking time. It happens in every industry. I've seen it. It happens in every fucking industry. It's gross. Like I said, there was and I was friends with, like I said, the girl, she's like my sister. She came into the job I was working at, and they wanted to hire her just because she was hot. The male manager wanted to hire her. Like, like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that happens. It's so common. It's so fucking common, and yet people don't realize that it's like, oh my God, this is real. Yeah, it's real. I've seen it. I've seen it. Red Blaze, I'm just going to assume that you're trolling. I'm not even going to give you the of reading your comment. Like, this isn't just, oh, Rich, this is just articles. I'm like, no, man, I've seen it. It's not just in the gaming industry. I've seen this bullshit time and time and time again. It's real. It happens all the time. And a lot of times it's swept under the rug because people are afraid for their jobs, or they're afraid to be ostracized, or they're afraid that, yeah, and they'll be blacklisted in any industry. Googlefish, snort my dried ass crack shit is his name. And he said, Rich, can I get a picture of your penis so I can worship it? It'll be a small picture. It's just nice to see now that people are finally fucking tired of it and it's coming to light. It'd be beyond what it would be a postage stamp. Be a small stamp that you put on an envelope. Hey, Rich, if HR won't do anything for their employees, then shouldn't the victim take it board of directors of the company? It should. The problem is, though, is that what happened? Well, it depends on how high up the corruption goes, man. Because if the corruption goes up high, then what? You know what I mean? Then you might just be like putting a bullseye on yourself. The corruption is fundamental, man. It's at the it's the foundation, and that's the problem. You should check out his video on your own time, because his usual response to gaming companies not treat employees right is "suck it up, Buttercup." You're talking about the quartering. Really? That's his fucking response? And then people, oh, Rich, but you share the same audience, so you should metaphorically suck his dick and just agree with him, because then people will stop. Fuck off. I'm not saying that's, look, Vampire Rockstar is an OG. I don't think he would just say that to me. But I'm not catering to that. If you want me to cater to that, get the fuck off of my channel. If that's what you want, find other fucking channels that'll do it. They'll be more than willing to grift to your stupid ass for fucking ad revenue. Go find them. Go ahead. Go ahead. Goodbye. See you later. Oh my God, at retail, it happened all the fucking time, bro. It happened all the fucking time. And that's why everyone's like, oh, it's not, you're just reading articles. I'm like, no, I've seen the fucking shit in the trenches, man. Don't tell me it's in fucking articles. I'm not reacting to the... I don't feel like, even though I just told basically people who are mad to fuck off, but... Who is Plain Rock tweets? Not to get political, but that's why we need unions. As someone who has worked at both union and non-union jobs, unions will fight for you. That is true. I agree with that one. Thanks for the hours of entertainment of the last 5 years. This is the least I can do. Thank you for supporting the show, man. Just you being here is huge. Am I really boosting the mood right now? I feel like I'm because you know what, man? It's not even me being cynical. I've seen how women are treated. Like I said to you with that Ho Biscuits thing, we used to joke around, and I was part of the problem with that. You know, and as a person who's now an adult with kids and has been in many businesses and has had a lot of life experience, I know this. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen the shit that happened. How anyone could say this doesn't exist and just suck it up. Fuck off. You're the next Keemstar, are you? I don't know. I wonder what. I'd rather be a Review Tech USA than the. Look, I don't. Look, if that's what you want, if you want someone to suck it up, Buttercup. Maybe I'll check out a video. Let me see. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. Maybe I'll check out his videos after the stream so I can have a take on my own and compile my thoughts. And if I feel it's worthwhile, then I'll maybe stream it. I won't make a video on it. I don't want to make a video on it. But and it's not even that I'm like, you guys know I'm not into that social justice warrior shit on the flip side either. You know I'm not in that camp either. You guys know I'm not like looking to be offended. I'm not in the Young Turks camp. You know what I mean? You guys know I'm not like that. But there's sometimes it's like, oh, it's not real. I'm like, how the fuck are you going to tell me what's not real when it was in front of my face for decades? How are you going to tell me it's not real, you fucking moron? Why? Because you looked at a couple articles and you don't like Kotaku, so you're going to say it's not real? You fucking out-of-touch piece of shit. And you want to sit there? And I'm not talking about the quartering. I'm just saying people in general. I'm not talking about the quartering at this point. Just make that abundantly clear. But I know people that do this. It's just like, oh, I know what they want me to say, so I'm just going to say it. Cool. That's good. Nice moral compass you have that doesn't exist, you fucking piece of garbage. Oh. Okay. I'll look at what he said. That's why I'll... Intro guy was touched by it. Actually, is true. I did touch Intro's guy thigh for many skits. I'm not baked at all tonight. I'm not baked at all. Time for a higher dose of gummy bears. I missed your last super chat, Solid Crusader. What did I miss? Hey, Rich, I think if HR won't do anything for their employees, that shouldn't evict. I did answer that, bro. GameStop is literally number one in these issues. 3 farts. Oh, sorry. What kind of simp worthy? Who's simping? Who's simping? This is the fucking problem. I'm not looking for any gold stars. I don't have to simp to get women, bro. First off, simping doesn't work. ask any of the people who have simped. I'm proud to say I've never simped. And secondly, I don't have to simp. I don't have a problem in that department. Sucks if you do. But I like to stick up for people, and I don't look for people to kiss my ass because I stuck up for them. I don't care if the opinion's unpopular. I've had many unpopular opinions on people that I know people love, but I think if they're wrong, I'll call them out. And if I think they're right, I'll defend them. I know any time a woman brings up this shit, it's like, oh, she's just like, there's factually zero fucking reason for Alana. There's nothing that she would gain from lying. She would lose everything from lying. So she's not lying because of what would be at stake if she was lying. So how the fuck could you think that she's lying? You need more. Not saying there's. You need more than 2 brain cells in your fucking head if you think that she would just come out and say this and lie. Come on, man. Rich, just specifically say what I and I alone want you to. And look, I'm glad I said, look, I'm not talking about anyone specific with this. But if you want someone just to say what you want to hear, there's plenty of places to go. I'm not saying all my opinions are right, too. I've talked about this. I know you're kidding, Flukus. I know you're kidding. I know your sense of humor by now. To change the workplace, what about the home? The crap of dad giving their son a high five for objectifying and scoring women, that is true, too. But it depends on oh, Dad, I got a date. That's good. If it's a consensual date, yeah, high five, son. That's fine. Oh, Dad, I grabbed this woman's ass at school and she freaked out. High fives, yeah, that you shouldn't high five for. But getting a date, that's a high five reason. Grabbing a woman's ass, while you're a junior in high school and she didn't want you to, that's not something to high five. That I agree with. LAX, longtime listener, just supporting as I can. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, man. It's that time, though. I think I'm going to end the stream now because I'm starting to feel myself fade. Regular chat and super chat, I appreciate all of you. And if you see something like this at your workplace, speak up. Because like Alana said, and I've seen this too, if the woman just speaks up, no one believes her. If there's other witnesses, you could literally not just save someone's career. Look at what happened at Activision. You could save someone's life. Have a good night.